Well, this is like the biggest change of plans ever. Originally, I had planned to give you this top tutorial this week, but I'm seeing that a lot of you are going crazy for the Taylor Swift dress. So of course, I have to give it to you. I have split this video into 2 parts because I know that if you're like me, you might be like a little bit impatient, and I have the feeling that the dress might take me a little while. Not too long, but then at least like this way you can make your pieces and then we can come back and place them together. So in this part 1, I'm going to show you the pattern, I'm going to show you how to make it fit your body, and I'm going to show you how to do a yarn color change. Then in part 2, we will put all of our panel pieces together. So make sure you're subscribed to my channel and you click that notification bell so that you know when that video is live, if it isn't already, depending on when you're watching this. First thing is sizing. I actually went to my wardrobe, or to my partner and I's wardrobe. I got one of his t-shirts that I kind of like the length of for a dress. And I was like, this will be like what I'm gonna base my pattern off, because I really wanted to be able to visualize the length. It is quite a short dress, so I just wanted to see something physical. That's why I chose one of his shirts and I'm basing it off that. Otherwise, you can just go ahead, grab a measuring tape, measure from your shoulder to the length that you want your dress. But just take into account that, like, you know, when like you raise your arms and things like that and move, the sizing will change. All right, you guys, this is the yarn that I'm using for my dress. It is from Spotlight here in Australia. Here are all the details about it because I know that you will ask. So here it is. I do not yet know how many of these I am going to use because I'm not finished yet. But in part 2, of course, I will tell you how many balls of yarn I use for my size. My size, for reference, is a Australian size 6. I believe in the States it's a 0. I'm using I know that this says 5, but this is just a different handle that I shoved this in, but I'm using a 4mm hook for this. Use whatever yarn and whatever hook you like, but I recommend getting a really nice yarn because it is something that you're going to be wearing, and this is just 100% cotton, I believe. To start, you're going to make a slip knot. And we're going to make a chain. All right, I have made my chain, and here it is in reference to the shirt. So it goes all the way to the end, and it starts at the very top of the shoulder seam. All right, and once you reach the end here, go ahead and chain 3, sorry. And back at that ending stitch before you just change your 3, go into that stitch with a double crochet and one more into that same loop. So you have a cluster stitch of 3 double crochets because that chain of 3 counts as your first double crochet. From here, chain 1, count 3, so 1, 2, 3, and in this 4th stitch you're going to place 3 double crochets into that same stitch. Chain 1, count 3, 1, 2, 3, double crochet into that 4th stitch 3 times. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3. chain 1, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, into the 4th with 3 double crochets. And just go ahead and complete this all the way along your chain until you get to the very end. I just had a thought that maybe there might be some really like new beginners to this tutorial because it's just become such an iconic dress. So I thought I would just quickly run you through how to do a double crochet, or what I mean by that. So when you're about to put something into a loop, your double crochet is yarn over first. Go into the stitch where you want to place it, yarn over, pull through, there's 3 on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, there's 2 on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2. And that is your completed double crochet stitch. I just thought that maybe I better share in case there are some newbies watching. But go ahead and continue that one until you reach the end. I thought we could chat while I finish doing my cluster stitches, because I put it in my other video, but obviously I've changed my schedule and I'm posting this one instead. But I went missing for a little while. Well, not missing, you know, I'm still here. But I took a small break from like crocheting so much because I was writing a book. Well, I'm still writing, I'm still writing the book, but I'm in like a really exciting process with it now where it's at a point where I'm editing a full first draft, which I just think is so exciting because I've always written, but I've never like finished anything through to like a completion or a full story or have an ending or anything like that. So it's been a really exciting journey for me, and it would mean the world to me, if you could follow my Instagram, because I'm going to be posting lots of exciting updates on there. My Instagram is Emma Jane Warrender, and I just, you know, I love giving you guys these tutorials, and I also love like seeing everything that you create and having you tag me in them. But follow me on Instagram because I really want to build something with this. And, you know, I like to give you tutorials, and if you could give something to me by following my Instagram, it would be so amazing. Anyway, I'm gonna go and finish this one and we will come back. All right, so when you make it to the end, this is what your row 1 should look like. So see here, I have a spare chain, but just ignore it, it'll be fine. When we crochet the pieces, the panels together, we can like hide that little tail end in there. So from here, I'm not going to do a color change yet, but if you wanted to, I will show you how to do a color change shortly. But from here, go ahead and chain 4. Turn your work. And the way that you can think about this is, because we finished on a cluster in the previous row, your chain of 3 here is your double crochet, and we put that additional chain for the chain of 1 between. So from here into this big space, 3 double crochets, a chain of 1, and into this next space with 3 double crochets. And I don't go into the stitch, I just go into like this whole big space here. And that is it. You're going to continue this same pattern, 3 double crochets, a chain of 1, all the way across. Okay, I am nearing the end of my second row, but I thought we would come back because I'm going to do a color change for this one, and the ending for this row is different. You'll notice that as you go along in this pattern, it'll just keep alternating each time. So before we finished on a cluster stitch, but on this round we're finishing here where we need to put a post. So go ahead and yarn over, insert your hook. Sometimes I try and like go into the stitch, but if you can't, just go in between the chain and the double crochet, pull through 3, yarn over, pull through 2. Stop here. So usually if you wanted to keep going, you can just like finish that off and chain as normal. But because I want to do that color change, I'm going to cut my yarn, grab my new color, and you'll do this, it's the same process every time you want to do a color change. So whether you're following this, whether you're making your own, or the actual Taylor Swift dress, go ahead and attach your yarn. So I just knotted mine on. Then yarn over with the new color and finish off that double crochet. From here, go ahead and chain 3. Turn your work. And now we have a little space here, and that's where we'll put our next 2 double crochets, because your chain counts as your first double crochet. Chain of 1, 3 double crochets into the next space. And this is your pattern, you guys. So you're just going to keep putting those cluster stitches of 3 double crochets. Take your color changes as you need to, and you're going to make this as wide as your shoulders. So I'm going to go ahead and just finish this panel because it's going to be the same pattern over and over and over, and I'll show you what I've got. All right, so here is my first panel. Now, you want to keep going until this panel comes from shoulder to shoulder. So do you see that? Because we're going to be joining our back panel in the same way. So once you've made this one, make it 2 times because you need a front panel and then you need a back panel to place them together. But that is your complete front and back panel. Your arm panels are going to be made in the same way, but you're just going to make your chain as long as your arm. So from your shoulder, from where your panel ends on your shoulder, until your wrist. So I'm gonna make mine like a little bit longer than my wrist. So I'm gonna make it kind of go to there. So I'm gonna make my chain from like here until it reaches my shoulder. And then I'm going to do the exact same pattern. So remember, we're making these panels together. So you've got your front and your back panels, and then you're going to make 2 arm panels in the same way. For this one, definitely measure them so that they're the same size. And that is it, you guys. That is the pattern for the Taylor Swift dress. So I'm going to go ahead and start making my other panels, and make sure you're subscribed to my channel and hit that notification bell so that you can see when I upload part 2 of this series. But go ahead and make your panels, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.